Well, thank the Lord. Praise the Lord. It recorded. Exodus 34 and 20. And listen to what it says. It says, "But the firstling of an ass thou shalt redeem with a lamb. And if thou redeem it not, then thou shalt break his neck. And the firstborn of thy son shalt thou redeem, and none shall appear before me empty." So we have to remember that each time that we deal with these 3 days, you hear what he just told you? Don't come up before him empty. And we have to always remember that. He says, 6 days shalt thou work, but on the 7th day thou shalt rest. In earing time and in harvest shalt thou rest. Oh, it doesn't matter. I don't care if you don't agree with that. He says, "And thou shalt observe the feast of weeks, and the feast of first fruits of wheat harvest, and the feast of ingathering at the year's end." So you see, this is what we're dealing with. We came, you hear how you said that? The feast of ingathering at the year's end. And you remember when we read that in Isaiah 26, when he talked about how he was going to gather the children of Israel one by one. You remember how we're dealing with the trumpets, that the trumpet be blown at the gathering? So at the end of the year, he's talking about, I'm going to gather my harvest at the end of the year. So let's look at something. Let's look at Haggai 2. Haggai 2 and about verse 18. Haggai 2 and 18. He said, "Consider now from this day and upward, from the 24th day of the 4th and 20th day of the 9th month, even from the day that the foundation of Yah temple was laid, and consider it." So we got to just look at, he said, consider when the foundation of the temple was laid. Consider when Yahshua was laid, basically, because it's talking about the actual temple being rebuilt after we came out of Babylon, but we have to look at it and consider it in the proper fashion. Oh, Lord, I'm going to deal with her in a minute. They say, "Is the seed yet in the barn? Yea, yet as the vine and the fig tree and the pomegranate and the olive tree have not brought forth, from this day will I bless you." Because he said at this time he done laid the foundation. He hasn't brought the seed in the barn. He hasn't brought the people back to the house, even though we were dwelling in the land, because New Jerusalem hasn't came yet. That final gathering of the people hasn't came across yet, because we know Yahshua ain't came. But the whole objective is to bring to pass what we're going to read now. Look at Hebrews 3, about verse 15. Because this is what is going to preclude a lot of people from even being able to get in. See, we want to get in. See, that's the part of me tripping about. They say you can we be able to say who's saved and who's not? We're going to see if the Lord can tell you who's saved and who's not. Let's see what it says, because it ain't hard to tell. It ain't hard to tell at all. Make it Hebrews 3 and about verse 7. Matter of fact, we'll start at verse 1. And we just going to network and we're going to see how he takes us. He say, "Wherefore, holy brethren, partakers of the heavenly calling, consider the apostle and high priest of our profession, the Messiah Yahshua, who was faithful to him that appointed him, as Moses was faithful in all his house. For this man was counted up worthy of more glory than Moses, inasmuch as he who have built the house have more honor than the house." So let's look at this something. Hold this here and go to Nehemiah. Or is it Ezra? I think it's Ezra 6 and 2. Because something got to happen for the house to be built. Look at Ezra 6 and 2. It's Ezra 5 and 2, pardon me. But make it verse 1. Ezra 5 and 1. It says, "Then the prophets, Haggai the prophet and Zechariah the son of Iddo, prophesied unto the Jews that were in Judah and Jerusalem, the name of the God of Israel, even unto them. And then rose up Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, and Yahshua, the son of Jehozadak, and began to build the house of God, which is at Jerusalem, and with them were the prophets of God, helping them." Now does this sound familiar? This says Yahshua, the high priest, began to build the house of God with the prophets of God helping him. And this is reference to the disciples. Because remember what he told Peter in Matthew 16? He said, "On this rock shall I build my church. With this rock I'm going to build my house." So beginning this process of I have to build my body up to be able to take my wife and bring her into the house. Because when you marry a woman, what do you do with her? You eventually bring her into your home. You know what I'm talking about? So this is the whole purpose, what, like we mentioned, what we dealt with on the first day of the feast. That Feast of Tabernacles is a foreshadowing of what?
Coming up.
The marriage supper of the Lamb. Because remember, it's a feast day. Look at, even though this ain't a particular feast, look at Exodus 5:1 and see what it's talking about. Because this is when he gathered us up to take us out of Egypt, and let's see what he did. Look at Exodus 5:1. That woman going ham. Somebody got cut. You know what I'm talking about? And it said, afterward, Moses and Aaron went in and told Pharaoh, thus saith Yah God of Israel, let my people go, that they may hold a feast unto me in the wilderness. So we see, not only did we have the feast of Passover before we went out, he's telling them, hey man, let my people go, so they can keep a feast unto me. You know what I'm talking about? Now, this ain't the Feast of Tabernacles that they kept when they came up out of there, but it's just showing you that, these feast days are very important to God, because you notice when a lot of major things going on, feasts go down. You know what I'm talking about? Which is why it's important to us to maintain and remember these feasts and keep them, because it pertains to our salvation. Well, you have many people that feel like, hey, you don't have to keep these feasts. It's not necessary. That's that old law. You can do it within the land. But if you say you believe in the Lord, then you should understand how these feasts relate to the Lord. You know what I'm talking about? Go back to Hebrews 3. And Lord willing, we'll just show that about him building up his wife through his prophets to manifest that. That's the whole point. He just moved me to go there right then. And he say, we're in verse 4. He said, for every house is builded by some man, but he that built all things is God. And Moses truly was faithful in all his house as a servant, for a testimony of those things which would be spoken after. But the Messiah as a son over his own house. You know what I'm talking about? Now, how can he be a man over his own house? Let's see how he's a man over his own house. Let me finish the verse out. Whose house are we, if we hold fast the confidence and rejoicing of the hope firm unto the end? So let's see how the Messiah is a man over his own house. Look at Numbers 27 and 15. Number 27 and 15. And Moses spake unto Yah, saying, let Yah, the God of the spirits of all flesh, set a man over the congregation, which may go out before them, which may go in before them, and which may lead them out, and which may bring them in, that the congregation of Yah be not sheep, as sheep which have no shepherd. So he just say, set a man over the congregation, set a man over the body, set a man over the wife. Now, why would he say this? Because we already know that. Look at 1 Corinthians 11. This is going to tie into some of the stuff that we didn't deal with last night, too. I see that he's going to go ahead and take me in that direction. First Corinthians 11, about verse 3. He said, but I would have you know that the head of every man is the Messiah, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of the Messiah is God. So this is why he's sitting there. He says, set a man over that woman. But let's look at Genesis 5 and 1, though. Because like I said, the Feast of Tabernacles, the ingathering, because we kind of dealt with that. What
was it, Corinthians?
1 Corinthians 11 and 3. We kind of dealt with that thing and with the Haggai and the barn and the tithe things not too long ago, didn't we? My mind served me correctly. So there ain't no sense of rehashing some of that. But you knowing that, yeah, we did, because we went through that there with Matthew 13. So you already knowing that we consider to be the fruit, which is the offspring of the seed of the word, and he going to gather his fruits up to bring that in. I think the Lord didn't even realize Tabernacle was coming in when he had us going ahead to deal with that. But look at Genesis 5 and 1. He said, this is the book of the generations of Adam. In the day that God created man, in the likeness of God made he him. Male and female created he them, and blessed them, and called their name Adam in the day when they were created. So what have we just ascertained from this? You see how he just said that in the beginning, he created man in the likeness of God, made he him. Now, we know we can take that to the Lord, but that's for another time and another day. That's not for today. But he said that he created them and blessed them and called their name Adam, because the whole household, the husband and the wife, the household's named after the man. You know what I'm talking about? So that's why he said, I call their name Adam. Because we already know, two become what? One flesh. You know what I'm talking about? You become joined to the Lord, you become one spirit. But there's a reason why the wife is named after this here. Let me find the epistle letter where it's at, so my memory don't slip on me. It's Ephesians 2. Make it verse 10. Ephesians 2 and verse 10. Look like we're on a delay again. Ephesians 2 and verse 10. He said,